harmony, love, and the top psyche above. I'm Shula Salim, the Ghetto Prince Hakeem, leader of Manumi, here to help you transform to your new you. Now, what we got for today? All right, we got how to create your own seduction style. Yeah, it's time. Because all these people out here, they want to give you little tidbits, little techniques, little this and that. But they don't give you an overall basis on how to create a seduction style. Now, when I say seduction, it doesn't just mean for picking up women. It doesn't mean for just meeting a woman one-on-one or in a group or at school or wherever you're going to meet women at. It means even down to relationships, right? Even down to long-term partnerships, even down to friendships. It's a seduction style, so it doesn't necessarily mean sexual. It just means being able to persuade and being able to use your mouth and your actions in order to be the best you and make people attracted to that best you. Okay, because everybody's not going to be attracted. It doesn't matter what you do. Everybody's not going to be attracted to your specific type of style, your specific person, your personality, how you look. Everybody's not going to be attracted to that. But no worries, you're going to be able to be efficient as possible as long as you put this into practice, right? So first thing, the first thing you want to do when you're creating your seduction style, and I have another video and I'll post it at the end of this video, but you want to have your beliefs, your values, and your boundaries established. Now, when you're new to this and you're creating these three things, your beliefs, your boundaries, and your values, well, it can take some time to come up with. But once you come up with it, once you come up with how you believe, and once you watch the video, you'll see kind of how you can put these together. But they play upon each other, right? And this is going to be the basis for everything else after that. How you treat women, how women treat you, how you treat people, how people treat you, how you're able to get your message across, how you're able to convey yourself in your most authentic but most seductive and intriguing and attractive way. This will all play a part in that, right? So those are the three things you want to get established first: your beliefs, your values, and your boundaries. I recommend, this is my recommendation, I recommend that everybody, every last one of you, write down these things: your beliefs, your values, and your boundaries. You can write them in a notebook. You can do them like how I have them in my Word document. I wrote down these so you can go back and check on them. Because even if you don't stay consistent with them being there, you'll at least have a guide, a reference point to look back on and say, okay, these are my beliefs. Okay, this is my value. These are my values. These are my boundaries. Did I break those? I need to learn how to continue to look at these so I don't break these and make sure I stand firm on these, right? The second thing you want to do is when you're approaching people, the best thing to do is come up with, especially online, when you're dating, when you're doing like dating apps or social media, you want to come up with good ways to, they call them in the community, open women. A good way to open up a woman, meaning introducing yourself. You know, some people go the direct way. Some people say, hey, I thought you were pretty. I just had to come meet you. My name is Shula and your name is. Some people come a little bit under the radar, which is indirect, saying, oh, excuse me, what is the time? And then they convert, and then they kind of like convert the conversation into seduction slowly and subtly. And then you have just different types of openers. You know, sometimes it can be just genuine and authentic, curious about the person. Hey, I thought from over there when I walked over here that you just looked like you just have the spirit of a rebel. You know, what are you into? Are you stand for a specific cause? Are you into a spirituality? Simple, you know. So you want to establish second your openers. Now with the openers though, just like anything in this seduction style when you're developing it, you want to make sure that you test these out, because I want them to be authentic to me, and for you, you want them to be authentic for you. So you don't want to take, this is what a lot of people, you don't want to take certain things from teachers and say this, say that, say this. You want to get the basis. Even if you go to teachers and listen to what they say and get the meat and potatoes, or I'm alkaline, so you get the kale and the spelt flour, and you get the bulk of it and say, what is it overall saying? What is the general theme? What is it doing? Okay, how does it work? Not just what it's saying is working. You want to know how it works, and then you're going to start developing more confidence in yourself to say, okay, I know this works for me a lot of times, 80% out of most of the time, and so I know that this is going to usually get a reaction depending on how I, and you can be authentic in that too. It's not something you got to always say as a one-liner. For example, and I'm putting myself on the line, one of the things that I always do when I'm, let's say for example, on a dating app, or when I meet a woman, I always use like a observation. That's one of the most easiest things for people to do, because when you see someone, especially a woman who's expressive and most likely wearing her heart on her sleeves, you can just see certain things, especially on dating apps where they have their profile, they have certain pictures out, they have certain like what's it called, tabs, or one-liners, phrases, or whatever about them, right? And you can feed off of that. So one of the things I usually do is I like to use the curious frame, to where I say, I might message a woman like, I noticed that you are very charismatic and you seem like someone who really enjoys having a good time. Now, who doesn't enjoy having a good time, right? It's regular. But the fact of the matter is, to go back to the opener, it's something that's just easy to be genuine, right? Not doing too much, and then kind of easing my way into having a kind of conversation and getting to learn more about her, because she can say, no, I'm not someone who just loves life or whatever, or loves a good time, but it still gives me insight on who she is. All right. I want you guys to think in terms of not being wrong, but in learning regardless. So if you get a response that's not necessarily right, if you use that, then it doesn't matter. You learn something about her. Maybe she tells you how she actually is. Any bit of information is going to tell you how you can move forward, right? All right. So the next one is, once you establish your openers, you want to use conversation builders. Now, this is something I personally love to do, right? Conversational builders are just where you want to take the conversation to. So if your beliefs and your foundations is like preparing you to go down a trail, let's imagine a trail. Your beliefs, your values, and your boundaries are establishing how you're going to handle when you get down to the trail. When you get down to the trail, you first walk in, that's your opener. You see everything. Okay, you make your first little steps inside the trail, boom. Your conversation builders are you moving down the trail. You going further along down the trail and adjusting to sticks being in the way, tree trunks being in the way, the path going that way, the path going this way. This is your conversation builders. Now, I have a few conversation builders that I love to use. Some of them include metaphors. So say, for example, we're talking about family, and we may be talking about a time where, something funny happened with the family, or let's just say something meaningful happened with the family where we got closer to our own family, or just the things we used to do as children with our family, right? Such as wrestle, such as play games, such as, play basketball in the front yard, things of that nature that can kind of relate to her. But these are authentic to you. These are real experiences that you have experienced, and you can share that with her, and maybe she can share something back with you. Or if she shares something with you, you can use metaphors or stories to relate that back to her and build that rapport and build that connection. All right. So the conversation builders, and if you guys want me to go into this deep, I'm creating a Patreon that'll go into this even deeper, but I just want to give you the gist of it. Okay. The next thing I have is I love to play games. Why is that? and I don't mean games as in mind games. Well, everything is a mind game, but I don't mean games as in mind games. I literally mean games as in like little intuitive games. Some people love to do hand reading or palm reading. You know, I have a finger reading that I love to do because it's not just about playing a game. It's really helping a person learn something about themselves. And who doesn't like to learn something about themselves, especially women, but people in general. So develop some games on your own. You don't want to just walk up to somebody and playing a game all the time, or even sometimes I don't even play games in general. Or it might be a cool new game that I learned that tells somebody how much money they're gonna make in the future. Who, you know, that's kind of interesting. Even though it may not be true, it's still something that I can use to build rapport and connection, and it can be a part of my style, right? Now, some people may not put games into their style. Some people may use other things, but I'm giving you an idea of how to develop it, right? Okay, bet. And the last two, first, small talk. You want to have some type of conversation that you normally talk about. Some of the conversation points that I normally talk about is connection. You know, when I first got into my spirituality, how big I am on family and family lineage and empire, how I like to go about being romantic in my relationships, how I love to treat my woman, what boundaries that I have that I think should be established, and want to hear about this. These are just simple small talk conversations. Now you can ask about a job, you know, you can ask about their work, you can ask about, you know, their passions. I love the passions. You can ask, you know, how old they are and stuff. I mean, I would hope if you don't know, if they look young, definitely ask. But far as those little things, you know, the stale-born topics, you can do that too, but mingle it up with some funness, like astrology, some mystery, you know, nature, finances can even be very interesting, humor, stories of adventure, just these different things, small talk, right? And that'll help you have some small talk, but also be able to talk about something that's intriguing and interesting, all right? And the last one is finalizing, right? Finalization can mean a lot of things. It can mean the end of an interaction. It can mean the beginning of sensualness, meaning touching, kissing, whatever with the woman. It can mean establishing just how you end every conversation with the person. You know how we say here, all right, bye, or peace in America, or see you later. That's basically what the finalizing is. Basically the finalizing is before you depart. And this can be when you just meet, or this can be literally be 2 hours hanging out with this person. But it's just finalizing. And it's basically saying the things that I do to leave a mark on them that they'll remember, hopefully, and that they can leave with something good. You know, I remember back in school when we used to have like specific events, and they would come into the gym and they would have all these different programs for students. And I remember this one vendor who, this is funny, they gave us condoms, right? That was one vendor. Another vendor gave us like books to take. And even though we didn't buy anything, or even though we didn't necessarily get anything, they gave us something to look forward to so that we can be on our mind. And that's how you want to be. But yeah, I'm just going to run back through them just one more time and apologize if I miss any. But these are just some of the things that you can use to develop your seduction style. So the first one is your boundaries, your values, and your beliefs. Imperative. Essential. Okay? Values, boundaries, beliefs. Second, your openers, how you get into talking to somebody. It doesn't even have to be a woman. It can just be anyone. Starting a conversation, you know. Third is conversation builders. What you're gonna be talking about, how you transition into a conversation. You know, how you convey those conversation points, you know. And then the topics is next, where small talk happens, you know, the topics of whatever you want to talk about, and you can still use the conversational builders within the small talk. Okay. And then fourth is, or the last one is finalizing. Okay. You want to make sure that you always have something that you want to give that can positively impact someone, that can leave a mark on them, maybe make them smile when they away from you, maybe make them reminisce on what interesting point that you brung up, or just being able to leave a mark in general on this person, okay, or woman. So once again, guys, I'm Shula Salim, harmony, love, and the top psyche above. Shula Salim, the ghetto Prince Hakeem, leader of my Numi, harmony.